Brie.
And I'm Jessie. And we're learning
lots.
This episode is about curiosity.
I'm really excited to talk about this. It's been a real joy the last couple of days just dreaming up this topic and kind of nailing down what the word means to me. I'd like to start by sharing the definition.
Great.
Curiosity, a strong desire to know or learn something. And I was very curious about this word. Of course, I'm curious about everything, but I realized you can't really choose to be curious about something. Being curious is like falling in love, but with a subject. You can't choose when it happens. Because I was thinking, sometimes I want to be curious. If you've ever been forced to sit next to someone who blabs on and on at a dinner party, and you're like, man, I really want to find something good in this because I'm here. This is my life. I'm sitting here. But I realized in going back to those moments that I wasn't curious. I was just focused.
You've had to sit at quite a few of those random dinner parties with a table full of people you don't know.
Oh, yeah. I mean, can you not relate to this? I mean, is that not life?
For me, I just think about having to take classes that I wasn't interested in and having to write papers about things that were assigned to me that I really did not want to have to write. And then essentially just pulling it out of my butt the night before because it was due.
Bingo. That's what I'm talking about.
Another avenue into curiosity that I think you specifically are very skilled at is questioning your thoughts and questioning how you're feeling about something in a really deep way. What's that like?
Well, it can be a hellscape. It can also be quite wonderful. I don't know when it hit me. Maybe some of this is because I was homeschooled for so long and was alone that I just became friends with myself. And I noticed that when I was curious about the thoughts that would pop up in my head, instead of being like, oh, that's scary, just going hello, who are you? There's just lots of different ways to experience the world. And I also feel that way about my body.
So for you, say you have a pain in your leg, how do you approach your curiosity about that?
Oh, go on WebMD and spiral? Is that curious? Or
isn't that the bad kind of curiosity? Curiosity killed the cat.
This is the other thing. Curiosity killed the cat. So when is curiosity positive or negative? Is it, or is it just what it is? Talking about a pain in your leg, what I think too is not necessarily my own Googling of a pain in my leg, but thinking, whoa, there's probably some doctor out there that specializes in calf pain or the nerve endings in the calf. Do you not love that?
I love a doctor with this very specific focus.
I mean, is that not just the most attractive thing in a human being when they're like, yeah, I'm interested in hooves. I'm really interested in sulfur. What?
I remember hearing a story about you on the set of Captain Marvel being so curious that it got you in trouble. What was that?
Well, yes, I did get reprimanded because you're sitting around on set and in that suit, you can't go anywhere. And I couldn't access my Switch, for example. I couldn't play video games. So I just started asking questions. Well, how much does this cost? I was like, how much does this crane cost? How much does this camera cost? How much does that lens cost? How much does people would answer? And one of the interesting things about curiosity is if you're genuinely interested, people kind of light up, their face pops in this way where they're like, oh my gosh, you want to know? And they're like, well, what do you mean? How much does it actually cost to buy, or the rental fee? And I was like, yeah. And I was like, what's the day rate? What's the weekly rate? What's the monthly rate? Yeah, it did lead to me knowing every single piece of equipment on set, exactly how much everything cost and what the rental fees were. Trying to figure out in my head, I was like, is it worth it to purchase a crane myself? Is it better to have a rental fee? I had so many conversations about cranes, honestly. Everybody had a hot take on cranes and if you should buy or if you should rent or if it was a good business to own one or if you could get a deal on a crane. And it all led to me getting a little bit too comfortable with it. And so I went to the camera department and there was this big lens and I picked it up and I screamed across the soundstage, how much is this one? And they were like, oh, no. You don't want to know how much that is. And I was like, oh, God.
The purpose of this channel is to share our admiration for Oscar winner, actress, singer, director, but above all, adorable nerd Brie Larson, as well as to dispel the absurd misinformation created towards her by toxic channels. Don't forget to like and follow, activate the bell to receive notifications of our videos. Keep loving Brie.